Yo, what is up, everybody? Welcome back to the most recent episode of the scienceofflipping.com. I am your host, Justin Colby. And on this episode, we are going to talk about multi-unit properties. Everyone loves them. Everyone wants them. They're very hard to find. And you got to make sure that you have a good ROI. So let's dive into that. If you are just listening to me on iTunes, I would love that. Appreciate your love. Would love a 5-star review if you're listening to the Science of Flipping on iTunes. If you are not and you're actually watching me on YouTube, or maybe you're not watching me on YouTube, you need to be. YouTube.com/Justin Colby. Make sure you subscribe and make sure in the comment section you are asking questions, engaging. Make sure you're liking the video because this is where I can actually help you. And there's no cost. So let's dive into this topic, as I've had a lot of questions over the last, call it 9 to 10 months, as more and more people want to get into the space of multi-unit investing, which I love. Okay, I personally don't own any multi-units yet. And then that is in large part just because they are harder to come by. And when you do come by them, typically the homeowner tends to either be a pretty savvy investor and or that they're just not that motivated, so they are going to want absolute top dollar, or simply they just don't want to sell because it's such a great return on their money. But let's talk about this. How do you find them? Where do you go? How do you market to them? How do you engage them? What are the things that I can help you guys with to try to get your first couple multi-units? So first of all, my experience in multi-units is they have been over the years great buy and hold opportunities. However, now because people understand what they have and the market is on fire and there's so many people marketing them, the sellers are becoming a lot more educated. They're starting to really understand what they have. They're starting to understand what an ROI is. They're not just there being some random passive investor that just happened to buy a 4-unit. They are really becoming much more educated on the value of these properties. And so when you are talking to a multi-unit owner, understand you're gonna have to know what you're talking about, know what numbers mean, right? Know the ROIs, know the cap rates, understand how much you can raise rents if need be, if you do buy this. Because based around what we have seen here in Phoenix, most of the multi-unit owners, they essentially want to sell it at less than like a 1 cap, meaning they want to sell it for $1 million and it rents, for the rents would be, $10,000 a month, right? That is not what's happening. Currently, the rents are more like $6,000 a month, but they want to sell it for $1 million. And so on the surface level, that might not be that intriguing. But what's happening is they're very educated on what rents could be, and you need to understand what rents could be. So they might be renting it for, $1,500 a month per unit, and it's a 4-unit, so it brings in $6,000 a month. But you might be able to be renting it at $2,000 a unit, right? And that's why they're actually trying to sell at $1 million, because they're going to try to sell you on the fact that their rents are low. You also have to understand how much work it's going to be, involved. So when you're talking to these, multi-unit sellers, you really want to have them understand, like, hey, if we were able to do this, I'm going to have to put in this much money to get the rents back out. Is there any reason that you're not actively doing this? Is there any reason you're not actively raising the rents? Is there any reason you're not remodeling this? And quite honestly, why are we even talking, Mr. Owner? And I have found that has worked the best. You're essentially saying, hey, I don't think or know that I'm the right fit if I'm the right buyer for you. I could be, but let's talk about why we're even talking here, right? Let's talk about the real needs for yourself. And also, can you do some creative financing on these? Absolutely, right? So finding more about the needs of this homeowner is really going to help you guys, not homeowner, but multi-unit owners, really going to help you guys move the needle, just like in any negotiation. The difference being is more often than not, the owner of a multi-unit is ready to just cash out, okay? That is really the majority of multi-unit owners that are willing to engage in this conversation of selling. They're ready to just cash out. You may come across an owner that is in a financial pickle, that, maybe they're going through an issue like a divorce or something that creates a much higher level of motivation that you're able to negotiate a little bit easier. But the vast majority of multi-unit owners that are willing to sell essentially want to cash out, and they're going to ask top dollar. So just know that going in. So how do you find these people? I use PropStream. If you just go to tsofdata.com, that link will bring you to PropStream, and then use code TSOF. You can actually get 10,000 downloads for free, as well as 7 days for free trial. So essentially you get a free list of 10,000. I use PropStream, tsofdata.com, and use promo code TSOF. And what I would do is I would target them. Now, most people know me because I do a lot of cold calling. The challenge you will see with multi-units is those owners typically own it in an LLC or a trust. And when that happens, it's very hard to find the right person. Skip tracing, right? You can reverse engineer it. You can go in and go into the corporation commission, or you can go to the Secretary of State and you can go find who the managing member is and skip trace them. But that takes a lot of time. So one thing I advise a lot of times is for, people to find an area. Let's just say Phoenix. When people think Phoenix, they think massive, massive. Phoenix is just a component of Maricopa County, right? Scottsdale is just a component. Glendale, Mesa, these are all just cities. So Phoenix isn't as big as people think. Maricopa County is big. So if you were thinking Phoenix, I want to be somewhere in Phoenix, I would take Phoenix and then I would go look at multi-unit 2 to 4. And I would download that. And what I would do is I would mail it. I would send direct mail to them. The reason being, although yes, it's more expensive. Although yes, you get low callback ratios relative to where they were. It will help save you time, energy, and effort versus skip tracing cold calling. I'm not saying don't try to cold call. I'm not saying that at all. I'm just saying the vast majority of these multi-units are in an LLC or a trust or something that is going to make it hard for you to find the right person, okay? So I like mailing multi-units, and I like putting aside enough budget to mail them consistently every single month. Because as you guys all know, this is an event-based business. Today, they might want to sell for top dollar. 6 months from now, they might have an emergency scenario that they need to sell, and they need to sell in 30 days. That's why if you mail them on a consistent basis, you're going to get some recognition. They're going to realize, oh, Justin keeps mailing me. This guy Justin keeps mailing me. Here's another either postcard or letter from Justin, right? And then at some point, you're just going to be around long enough that they're going to call you versus anything else, right? And obviously your message remains the same. You can close quick, you have cash, no commissions, etc., right? And so while I'm a massive advocate of cold calling and texting, in this case, I would prefer direct mail. Now, I personally am not going after multi-units directly, okay? We just wholesaled 2 or 3 duplexes in Bloomington, Indiana, okay? It's right next to Indiana University. We wholesaled 3 of them. The only reason I didn't buy them for myself as rentals, is because there was a massive storm in Bloomington, Indiana, and all of the units were flooded with 1 foot to 3 feet of water under the units. So, as we all know, rehabbing, I've done hundreds of them. They have their challenges with contractors and the cities and all the other challenges. So I just elected, listen, I don't want to do 6 remodels with standing water under the property, which means I might have to do, kills and lift the drywall up 3 feet on all of them, do, new cabinets. I just might have been over my head with those properties. So I decided to wholesale them to a local investor. That being said, I would likely be buying most of the multi-units I would find anyways. And so, it's a case of I'm not directly going after them. That deal or those deals, if you want, came from my PPC campaign. I'm a firm believer in PPC. That's where those came from. We made a nice little wholesale and we moved on. But, you know, in terms of targeting them, I like direct mail. I would pick the city that you want them in. And then I would be consistently putting a marketing budget together with them every single month to make sure you're reaching out, because it is a timing issue when it comes to a reason they would like to sell. And when it comes to, you know, how to negotiate the deal, again, most of these individuals now are much more educated. They really get it. Before, a lot of people would just do it because they were told, you know, hey, you know, buying multi-units is a good investment. Now they really understand. So you're going to have to understand cap rate, ROI, you know, how much you can raise rents, what has been done in terms of maintenance deferment and that you need to go in, have to do, you know, all of that is stuff that you're going to have to be able to talk to these individuals about, and then figure out whether you can be the right fit for them. Because again, most of them want to cash out. So this is the last 10 minutes of really trying to understand how to find them. And I believe prop stream with direct mail, and then ultimately how you negotiate. And how you negotiate, just like anything else, is just, you know, stick to it, how you can provide value to them, what they're really looking for. And if they do want to cash out, just might not be the right fit, right? Because my firm belief is, you know, Grant Cardone has done a brilliant job marketing multi-units as the best way to invest. I don't disagree with him, but I have a philosophy just about, like, there's 10 homes for every one multi-unit. So just casting a wider net and doing that for single family homes and condos and townhomes, to me, is a better use of my time, money, and you know, resources. So I love multi-units. I can tell you I don't specifically go after them directly, but if I were to, what I just advised on is exactly how I do it. So again, if you're listening to this and you're on iTunes, give me a 5-star review. I would greatly appreciate it. And leave a review. If you are not, and you actually happen to be at YouTube, youtube.com/Justin Colby, make sure you subscribe. Subscribe is that word. And make sure you ask me questions right here in the thread of YouTube, and I'll make sure to answer them for you. And make sure to like the videos and all that kind of good jazz, and make sure you turn on notifications too. So a lot of demands here, I apologize, but I want high engagement on YouTube, and I want you guys to you know, get what you need out of this podcast. I want this to be the #1 rated real estate investing podcast on iTunes and YouTube. I'll holler at you guys later. See you on the next podcast.